Hello everyone, hope you are fine. In this session, we will study refraction of light through a prism. Before we begin our topic, let us understand what is a prism. A prism is a transparent optical object which refracts the light. It has two triangular bases as we can see in the figure, and it has three rectangular lateral surfaces. So we need to remember that a prism has two triangular bases and three rectangular lateral surfaces. The angle between two lateral surfaces of prism is called the angle of prism. Now let us come to the topic, that is refraction of light through a prism. We all know that refraction of light is the phenomenon of bending of light when it passes from one medium to another. We have already learned how light gets refracted through a rectangular glass slab in chapter number 10. Let us now understand an activity to study the refraction of light through a triangular glass prism. We will understand activity 11.1, which is given in your textbook. For that, we need to fix a sheet of white paper on drawing board using drawing pins. We need to take a glass prism on it and we need to put it in such a way that it rests on the triangular base. Then we need to draw outline of the prism using a pencil. Now first of all, consider that here we have taken a prism which will name it as ABC. Now for this, on the side AB, we will draw a ray called PE, and that will be our incident ray. We all know that when a light ray incidents on any surface, it is called incident ray. So here PE will be our incident ray. Then the next will be EF, that is refracted ray. We know that when a light ray refracts, when it goes from one medium to another, it will be said as refracted ray. So EF is the refracted ray. Then we will have FS as emergent ray. What is the meaning of emerge? In general, to emerge means move out from something and become visible. So here there is a ray which is moving out, which is coming out from the prism and becomes visible. So ray FS is the emergent ray because it is coming out from the prism and it becomes visible. So that is emergent ray. It is necessary for you all to see the diagram properly and to understand all these terminologies. Now we have angle A as the angle of the prism. What is the angle of the prism? The angle between two lateral surfaces of the prism is called angle of the prism. So here we will have angle A as the angle of prism because it is the angle between two lateral surfaces which are AB and AC. So that is the angle between AB and AC, which is the angle of the prism. We also have angle I, which is angle of incidence. Now what is an angle of incidence? We all know that the angle made between the incident ray and the normal is called angle of incidence. So here we have angle I as angle of incidence. We have angle R as angle of refraction. What is an angle of refraction? The angle made between the normal and the refracted ray is called angle of refraction. So in the figure you can clearly see that the angle made between this normal. Here normal is n dash. Okay, with that EF is refracted ray. So between these two, the angle formed is the angle of refraction. The next will have angle of emergence, which is angle E. So the angle which is made between the normal and the emergent ray is called angle of emergence. Here you can see another normal with side AC, that is the normal M dash. So with M dash and ray Fs, which is emergent ray, there is an angle E which is called angle of emergence. Then we have angle of deviation, that is angle D. As we can clearly see in the figure, angle D, that is called angle of deviation. Now first of all we must know what is deviation. Deviation is anything that varies from accepted. Consider a case if there would be no prism. Then the incident ray PE that goes straight as ray GH. Please look into the figure and try to understand. If there would be no prism, then the incident ray would go straight as ray GH. But here we have prism, and that is why deviation of the ray happens. So it was expected that the ray should go straight, but it deviates and it forms an angle D. So here angle D is angle of deviation. That is the angle between the direction of refracted ray and the direction of incident ray when a ray passes from one medium to another medium. So in simple form, you remember that it was accepted to go straight, but it deviates from its path and it took another path and it forms an angle D, that is angle of deviation. Let us once again revise it. Here we have PE as the incident ray, EF is the refracted ray, and Fs is the emergent ray. So in this figure, with words it is shown: incident ray, emergent ray, refracted ray, two normals that are also shown. Now a ray of light is entering from air to the glass at the first surface AB. As I told you that from air it is coming and incidenting on surface AB. The light ray on refraction has bent towards the normal. Normal is N dash. At the second surface AC, the light ray has entered from glass to air. Now once it was entered from air to glass. Now when it is coming out from AC, so it is coming from glass to air. And that is why it has bent away from the normal. As we can see, normal is M dash, but the ray has bent and it moves away from the normal. And we can see there is formation of angle of deviation. Why is this angle of deviation is formed? Because the shape of the prism. The shape of the prism makes this emergent ray bend at the angle to the direction of incident ray, as we have already discussed. And because of the shape of this prism, it makes this angle of deviation. Here in the figure we have angle D as the angle of deviation. So this is all about refraction of light through a prism.